Awesome. Hello, WFJ. Any employees in the house? More noise. Thank you. Appreciate World Financial Group, my leadership, and the biggest, the Father, the God who put me in this environment and this provide me this opportunity. And I'm standing in this Vegas convention. In 3 years, I never thought that I'll be getting this chance this early. I'm so grateful to God and all my leadership for giving me this opportunity, and especially to World Financial Group, who changed my life. As an ordinary person, came from Nepal with one suitcase of, and this company gave me a chance to stand in front of thousands of people and, share my story. I'm so thankful. I appreciate all of you. So I'll go to my slide now because I have a limited time. That, I started the business 2018 August, and can you show my slide, please? Okay. So I already, I started this business with a bigger dream. So everybody agree with me on these points that you should have 100% faith and belief on what you are doing. And guess what? The God will test you when you are going through this process. When you are thinking of becoming successful, God will test you in the path. How many of you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so now journey start like this. 2018, I got recruited. I was a gas station owner, and with the belief of my leader, I got recruited. And what happened is, first in 2018 August, I was sitting in this convention hall without a licensed guy. I was somewhere there and dreaming about one day I'll be speaking in this stage. And you know what? I was clapping similar like Rich Holly said. I was clapping like this, like a Tony Robbins for other people who are winning. And congratulations on all the champions who win here last night. Okay, so now, after attending Vegas convention back, I went to Canada, and guess what? I got my license done. And I got my first paycheck of $466. I was jumping in the, in the sky, and I was so excited. And what happened is I brought my family in Canada. I brought them a nice vehicle. My life was going great, and guess what? I sell my gas station because I replaced my gas station, business income and job full time and making tons of money. In the first year, I made over $96,000. In just of I couldn't hit 100K. But guess what? In 2020, everything that was one of the, I would say, challenging year. God was testing me that year. Everything vanished. What happened is the finance company which I took a car from, they took away. They tore my car from my garage. And I couldn't pay the mortgage bill, and I received a vacant notice. And guess what? I want to ask you all these questions tonight. That if you are going to your house and you have seen there is a vacant notice, do you still do this World Financial Group business? Ask yourself. And when you wake up in the night at 2 o'clock, and when you see your baby is crying and you want to feed with the milk, when you take out the refrigerator, when you open it, there is no milk, and you don't have a dime to buy a milk, still you're going to do this.
Yeah.
You're going to do this.
Yeah.
Guess what? I have that faith inside me that this opportunity and what is happening in my life is coming because God is trying to test me. Guess what happened? In 2020, I made over $24,000. I was broke and the credit card was full. And these are the leaders who helped me. And give it up for my leaders who helped me to come out from that situation. And guess what? And New Year's begin in 2021. I asked myself, hey, this is a chance for me. I should not be staying because my people, my community, my team is watching And guess what? What happened? And I started helping my team, and we produced many quarter millions, 100,000 earners. So he's my first SMD and also quarter million earner in my team. And I have 100K, I have 700,000 income earners. And these are my SMDs we produce in 1 year. And these are my marketing directors. You know, they are delegate. And guess what? And finally, we made over $500,000 last year. So this is my story. And I'm going to tell you everyone, whoever sitting new in this hall, in that chair, you can start living right now. And thank you, appreciate all of you. This convention is going to change everyone's life. Thank you.
Yes, I love that testimony too. Those are my favorites.
Well, the best of two things, commitment and consistency. I personally believe that one doesn't necessarily always need to be motivated. Motivations come, they go, but if you're consistent, you'll find yourself more motivated and excited as your business starts to grow and consistently grow. As far as commitment goes, commitment can come from different avenues. A commitment to endure no matter whatever happens, a commitment to mastery, being the best at your craft and the best version of yourself, a commitment to your team, to your hierarchy, and to this company. And I believe that commitment and consistency will breed the necessary tools and bring you success in all avenues.
Please welcome Brian Loiso.
Everything. Hey, today I'm going to talk a little bit about creating our future. Quick question for you, and by the way, just a special welcome to everybody attending convention for the very first time. Just remember, the people you saw last night, the people speaking today, we all experienced our first convention. We all experienced that. Wanted to know what we were getting into. So my first convention, I sat in the very back, and by day 3, I just heard so many people. I heard so many dreams. I heard so many visions that changed my career. It changed my belief, and indeed, it changed my life. You have a clean canvas here. When's the last time you had an opportunity to actually create your future? In the next couple of days, I sincerely hope that people here, that all of you have a vision for exactly what you can create. And I think indeed that's what you will be able to get. There's a simple reminder, a basic business fact that I believe in, that if you really want to predict your future, you go out and you create it yourself. That's the WFG difference. Typically in most companies, in most careers, in most jobs, your past and your present dictates what your future is going to be like. And that's a future that most of us have to just accept. And think about that just for a minute. We really don't have that much control over it. And that's so scary. But in WFG, we're actually able to create our very future. And that's the greatest thing. And the way we do that is through this incredible thing called the business format system. Through this incredible thing called the power of WFG. By this incredible thing called mentorship. My heroes are here. And for the last 22 years, I have just been enthralled with this company. My journey to WFG, we all come here in different ways. Before I came here 22 years ago, almost to the day, my very first convention, I came here as a CPA. I came here as an international consultant. I was with the world's largest firm, and that firm took me everywhere. And when I got out of college, I wanted to create something. What I wanted to create is some knowledge for international business. I wanted to create a really challenging experience for me professionally. But the main thing I wanted was to create a passport full of stamps. I wanted to see the world. I had never seen the world. Coming out of college, I looked at this big globe and I'm like, I want to experience life. And for the first 10 years, I loved it. But then back in the year 2000, I came to my very first convention. And I sat here, and that convention changed everything. It completely changed everything. And so like most smart people here, after those 3 days of seeing people that just became extraordinary leaders, average and ordinary people like me started to do extraordinary things. And my friends, I wanted that. I wanted that opportunity. And so, like a smart person that I was, never having hired anybody, never AMA'd a soul, I quit and came full-time here on September 1st of 2000. And those next 4 months were magical. Those next 4 months were absolutely magical. In those 4 months, assembled a team of 43 people. In the next 4 months, made SMD. And that might be slow for a lot of people, it might be fast for others. But here's one thing I know. This company can take a linear thinking CPA and turn them into an exponential thinker. And that's what I love about this business. That I made SMD out of a spare bedroom in my Denver condominium, and then we finally, Chris Trevor and I, took down some executive space. We moved out of that in 18 months, and you know, when my first convention, I said, in order for me to leave, there's a few things I must have. I know I need to be able to replace my previous income. I want to be challenged and productive. I want to compete. Last night you saw a competition, and where do you compete professionally other than a place like WFG? I want to have greater control over my schedule, and of course promotion SMD was incredibly important. My next chapter, we took down my first lease, we blew out of that so quickly, make your head spin, and then I had hoped for some things when I went to my first convention, and these are what I wanted. I think this really talks about a dream business. I wanted an environment where high standards exist. I want a place where merit is rewarded based on nothing other than your personal success, has nothing to do with your background or your pedigree. That's what I want. I want a level playing field. I want multiple offices focused on really creating new SMDs, and I want a business where needs can be fulfilled. Let's talk about needs really quickly. North America, we are not ready to retire. That's all there is to it. If you go to Transamerica Center for Retirement Studies, you will find that the average, the median retirement savings for people that are working right now is $65,000. You'll see that 1 in 10 workers, or 1 in 10 baby boomers, feel like they have enough to retire. That means 90% of baby boomers are not ready for retirement. And then we hear, and that's on the client side. Of course, we also hear about, on the career side, we hear about this great resignation from COVID. Well, everyone calls it the great resignation. We at WFG call that the great opportunity. Because people are looking. People want an opportunity. People want to feel like what they do matters, and that's all there is to it. So at that very first convention, I looked at my notes and I said, you know, my dream business is 10 things. I want an ever-expanding list of clients and people that I work with that are starting to live better lives. I want a place where inspiration occurs by personal example, not the ability to give a speech or words. I want an environment where people can experience an identity change. That's the main thing. How do you go from an employee to an entrepreneur? It's our system, and it's incredible. And I want a business that can flat out strengthen families by what we do. I want a business centered on creating and developing entrepreneurs and teammates who remember where we came from. You know, every one of us in this arena, the people you saw last night, we all started not knowing how to fill out an AMA, not understanding how to sell a life insurance program. We didn't understand anything, but we all started, and you never forget that, because we know that our job is to pay it forward. We want a career where lifelong friendships are made and an opportunity where dreams can actually come true. The main thing for me is I want to start living my life with passion. 22 years ago, I was bored. I've never been bored here. I've never had that feeling on a Sunday afternoon that, oh no, I got to go back to that job. Because I own it. And you all own it. And that's called passion. There's no income limitations. You saw that last night. There's no territory restrictions. It's just you and what you can do. And I want everyone to remember the passion's intriguing, it's exciting, and it's flat out contagious. Central question, how do I bridge the gap between entrepreneurial passion and entrepreneurial behavior? Quite simply, it's the BFS. That's 6 steps of the BFS, the 8 speed filters, how you fast start somebody. It's all in there. And finally, we're here to create a legacy. I want what these leaders have in the front. I want your life, and I want to create a legacy that I can be proud of. I wish you guys the best of the next 2 days. Craft that vision. Understand what WFG can do for you, and welcome to the club. Have a great convention, everybody.
And when he wants to leave the police force to pursue this dream in WFG, his supervisor told him, "Hey, I know guys like you. To know what you're doing, I know you're gonna come back." Luckily for us, he did not went back. He persisted and he prevailed in WFG. Now he's a $1.5 million earner, and in this elevate of persistence, please help me welcome our friend from Canada, Paxton Frisch.
Please welcome Paxton Frisch.
I got that right, but that was about the best I could do. No dancing from me, and no one told me I was gonna have a podium, so that really messed me up. But anyways, how's everybody doing? Okay, this is really weird. Melissa told me not to walk in circles, thank you. All right, so, hey team, how's it going? All right, you know what? We're gonna do a sound whoosh. Listen to when I call for you to scream. All right? You got it? Okay. I want to hear from everyone on my team. Team Dynasty. Real Michaud's team. Canada. All of WFG. All right. I'm just using all my time. So, hey everybody, my name is Paxton Frisch. I grew up in Ottawa, Canada. Honk, honk. No? Alright. Anyways, I don't own a truck. So, anyways, I grew up in Ottawa, went to school there, ended up moving out to Edmonton, Alberta in 1998. The reason I moved, a long time ago, the reason I moved out there is I joined the Edmonton Police Service. I was with the Edmonton Police Service for 8 years. And after about 4 years of being, I had hair then. After about 4 years of being a police officer, I was driving down the street one night. Jasper Ave, it's 4 in the morning, that's like the bar district. I'm driving down the street in a car just like that. My partner's sitting beside me. My partner was 15 years older than me, 15 years senior to me, and I just remember thinking, I was looking over at him, I just remember thinking, there's no way that 15 years from now, number one, this is what I'm gonna be doing. Number two, he was making $8,000 a year more than me, 15 years senior to me. And I was not excited about that. But the biggest thing, number three, I didn't have kids yet, I knew they were coming. Number three, he got to spend time with his family when the Edmonton Police Service told him that he could. And I was not excited about that. And I thought, listen, I gotta find something else. I got some time off, I can do something on the side, let's find something. So I started looking, I tried a couple little different businesses, ended up getting to a franchise business, and that made me broke and overworked and underpaid and all that stuff. So anyways, I ended up 8 years into being a police officer. I ran into a guy named Cam Agnew. And through a sequence of events, I ended up getting into WFG part-time. I knew nothing about money and finance. I knew nothing about business. I knew nothing about how this would operate. I was a complete introvert all my life. If I saw you and I knew you from high school and I haven't seen you from 20 years and we're in the mall and there you are and we're coming towards, I'm ducking into a store and I'm not saying hi, right? That is uncomfortable, right? But when I started, I said I can get uncomfortable and I can do a couple things, right? So that I can get something more than what I'm gonna have, or I can stay where I'm at. And I thought, I'll give it a shot. So I did. I went part-time, I had okay success, ended up going full-time after about 6 months, left the police service. What Ling said is true. They said, we'll see you back here. And I said, oh, those are fighting words. All right. And then, so I went full-time, about a year into being full-time. I ended up getting my watch. Another year, I ended up getting my ring. And then after that, we became an SMD. And then we looked at the landscape of World Financial Group. This is in 2006, or 2008 now. And we looked across WFG in Canada, and we looked out to where I was from in Ottawa. And there was really not a lot going on there at all. And I thought, wow, if I could do half of what maybe Real did in Alberta, right, in some years, I think that would be a pretty good life. So we moved out to Ottawa. I hadn't been there for 10 years. My wife Jill had never been there at all, right? We ended up moving out there. I wasn't on Facebook. I wasn't connected with people. It was 2008. Probably let's pick a time in history where you wouldn't want to open a new financial services company in a new city in the financial services business. That'd probably be 2008. But people are people and people need help, and we see our company perseveres through tough times. And when you went out there, it was a lot of hard work. It's almost 14 years later, and now we have 400 licensed agents on our team. We have 32 SMBs. We have 28 ringers. We have an incredible team, an incredible company. I'm just so blessed and grateful to be a part of this company, to have an incredible team, to have such great leadership, to have an incredible supportive spouse and family. And life has never been better. I used to say life is good. Life is unbelievable. Okay? Unbelievable. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. I'm living out all my dreams. I'm doing things I never thought about, I'd ever even put on my bucket list. Life is awesome. We worked hard. We worked harder. This will probably be the hardest thing that you ever do in your life. But it's worth it, right? For women, what is the hardest thing probably this little moment of time? If you've had a baby, what's the hardest thing probably you've ever done in your life? Or the scariest, right? Probably having a baby, right? And what's the best thing in your life? Having
My
children.
child.
It's unbelievable. That's what this is about, right? That's what this, I mean, this isn't having kids, but you get to have 400 of your own and help them in every way, right? Right? So, let me share with you a couple of things. I had this awesome speech prepared, and I haven't done this in 3 years, so I'm just going to go with what I know. Number one, here are some things that will help you win. Commitment. To succeed in anything in life, you need to be committed. Committed to everything that you're going for. Okay? Commitment. That means all out focus, obsession, a healthy obsession. Don't forget your faith in your family and your fitness and your health and all that kind of stuff, but a commitment to what you're trying to accomplish. You came here for a reason, right? You came here for a reason? Well, it's time to go make that reason come true. It's time to go make it happen. And if you're committed, right, your goals aren't goals. Your goals are promises you make to yourself. You're committed to go make it happen. It's not, I might make 10 contacts today, or I hope to make 10 contacts today. I will do 10 contacts no matter what. I will do 4 appointments no matter what. No matter what happens, I'm committed to make this thing happen for me and my family. Okay? Next, my team's gonna last. Conviction. Okay? Do what's right. Do what's right. When you do what's right, and you know at the heart, like what Cash talked about, that's another level of ethics. That's another level of morality, right? You do what's right every single time. You don't do something for a promotion. You don't do something for a contest. You don't do something for recognition. You do it because it's the right thing to do, right? You do it because it's the right thing to do for your team, for your family, for your business, for your clients. That's what you do, right? And the last thing, when you're committed and you're convicted, you are able to build a business that will protect your family, right? I'm not talking about product protect your family, I'm talking about building a business, about building a legacy, about building something where you work at it and you protect everything you've ever dreamed of, everything you've ever wanted, your hope, your goals, your aspirations. You do it for them, right? You do it for them, for your future family, for everyone. There are tough times coming in your life. There are tough times coming in your life. But if you're committed and you're convicted, right, and you build something that will protect you and your family, you will have everything that you've ever wanted. And when you fall down, because you will, multiple times, you'll be able to get back up. I'm telling you, when you sit down with the family and you help them get out of debt, save money for their kids' education, help them plan for retirement, help them do the things they've always wanted to do, have clarity for a financial future, it feels awesome. And when you do that, you have a better life for you and your family. I'm telling you, you can do it. This is the place. This is the time. This is the arena. This is it. You can do it. Think about it. Anything you ever wanted, you do it. Go make it happen.
So rewarding to look back on the trials and tribulations, because those are what makes the rewards that much better. So I'm so appreciative of what I had to go through to get through to the other side.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Awesome. It's a pleasure speaking to all of you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. This is going to be an incredible time for you. And I want to start with my story. But one thing I always do, I'm going to do all the talking. You guys say yes and no. Is that okay? Yes. Is that okay? Yes. Awesome. As she mentioned, we came to Canada back in year 2000 with literally $4,000. We lost everything. And I remember I was just 13, 14 years old. And my father got a job just going and cleaning offices. And while all the teenagers were going actually, partying on the weekends, till 4 a.m., I went and I was working with my dad, just trying to make the ends meet. And you know what? In my mind, I knew I didn't come to North America for that. I came to make something happen. And that same kid, now in the past 12 months, has made $2.5 million using this platform and took my family's life to another level. Every one of you can have the same story. Remember something, none of us want to be seen at the bottom, but yet that becomes our story. Yes or no? Yes. You gotta enjoy the journey. So let me share quickly a little bit about the story of where I started with the business. So I had a background of system engineering. And you know what? I quit engineering. I made a decision back in 2009 that I'm gonna come in this business and I'm gonna do WFG. I left my parents' home. I'm the only child of the family. And you know what? I quit engineering. I quit my job. I went full-time with 2 credit cards, $5,000 each. I moved out and I started. And my own mother said, you know what? You're leaving our home. You're starting this business we don't approve of. You're quitting engineering. How about we don't talk to you for the next 6 months? Let's see if you have any support to make anything happen. If you heard my story, you asked my mom today, she says, I told Dave to do WFG. So when you make money, whether it's your mother, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your brother or sister, their perspective changes. Say yes. Yes. Say yes. Yes. And you know what? I gave it everything I had. I worked 4 months, 5 months, and I went to the last dollar of my money. My credit cards, I was paying this to that, and done. And I never forget, one night, it was a cold night back in 2009, I got to the last $20 in my pocket. And I remember I went down to get some food, and there was this homeless guy sitting there, and he was shivering. And if you heard my story, this is what happens, because you don't know how close you can get to success before you turn around. And I took that $20, I gave it to him, I said, go get a hospital. And I came up that night, I had cereal, and I didn't even have milk. I was nervous, I was fearful, like many of you might be. But you know what? I had a proud feeling in my gut because I had given it everything I had. Does that make sense? Yes. Everything in my power. And I want you to write this down. Many people never give everything they have to this business, so they leave that little room, so if they fail, they can say, I could have done it if I gave it everything. Never leave a single bitter room. And you know what? I woke up in the morning. I got a call from the office that I was working with. And I went there. And that day, they handed my first paycheck of $5,400. And my life changed from there. Does that make sense? Yes. Every one of you can do it. But I want to start with something. Negativity. Do you think my own mother didn't love me? Why was she giving me negativity? She was reverse prospecting me. She would call my friends and family and say, hey, Dave started this business, don't support it. Like you wanted to support you, she was doing the reverse. But I want you to write down, at the beginning of the business, you gotta vaccinate yourself and vaccinate your associates against negativity. And you get negativity from the closest people to you. You know why? It is not that they don't love you. It is that they are projecting their mindset onto you. My mother was telling me, I cannot do this business, so therefore you shouldn't do this business. Does that make sense? Yes. Go talk to your friends and family who are entrepreneurs, who are successful, and then see what they say. They will say, go crazy at it. Give it everything. Because they see themselves being able to do it. So they give that to you. Yes or no? Yes. Louder, yes or no? Yes. Understand that. And make sure you're letting your associates know. I'm going to spend some time with you. I'm going to give you some tips to become successful in this business. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
I tell you something. I want you to write this down. Entrepreneurs are not born. Entrepreneurs are developed. Entrepreneurs are worked on. They work on themselves to become entrepreneurs. The biggest reason why you don't become successful in this business is because you decline and you reject the idea of changing and converting your traditional mindset that we're all born with to an entrepreneurial mindset. Does that make sense? I need you to understand the only way to success in this business is to change your mindset to become an entrepreneur. And I want you to write this down. I always say this. Real education is not going to classes, is not reading books. You could do all of those. Real education is training your mind to think in a way that will profit you. Does that make sense? Training your mind to think. Entrepreneurs think differently. Write this down. Success is the result of thinking in a certain way and in a different way. Yes?
Yes.
You can write down and say yes?
Yes.
Understand that. That's the kind of education you want to have. And I want to share this with you. Hey, you heard 90% of our business is mindset, yes? Yes. 10% of our business skill set, yes? Yes. Which one do you need? Both. You need absolutely both. But there's a difference. If you don't have the skill set and the mindset, you need both. It's like a pilot that needs fuel in the plane, which is the mindset, and needs skills to be able to take off. Yes or no? Yes. With just fuel, can you take off? If you don't know how to. So I want you to write some things down. I have a few minutes, I'm gonna go through it. I'd start with skills. Hey, as much as you try, remember, running this business and building this business requires skills. Prospecting, approaching, inviting, closing, presenting, yes? Yes. But you see, exactly all skills, it's like I want to start playing piano. As good as I start, write this down. You need these things in building skills. Number one, time. Give it time. You have to be patient to build skills, yes? Yes. Number two, master of all skills is repetition and practice. How do I become good at playing piano? Practice, 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 yes? Yes. And number three, you heard this, I call it growth concept. Let me share this with you. If I want to start playing a sport, if I want to start playing piano, if I want to start doing this business, as much as I want to get good, right at the beginning, I'm going to suck at it. Yes or no? Yes. We will all suck at anything we want to start with. Yes or no? Yes. And then I work at it for 6 months. Do I become good? Yes. No, I become very bad. I go from I suck to very bad. Yes or no? Yes. And then another 6 months, and I become bad. And then I become okay. And then over years, I become good. And then very good. And then excellent. Yes or no?
Yes.
So as much as you try, you're not going to get to the skills that I've attained in 12 years because I've been practicing for 12 years. Yes?
Yes.
But all of you can do it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then next thing, that's why you need the mindset. So skills take time to build, yes? Yes. You need consistency. Remember, it doesn't matter if you brush your teeth very hard once every 2 months. Your teeth will still fall off. Yes or no? Write this down. It's not about intensity. It is about consistency. It's not about intensity. It is about consistency. And then you need the mindset. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the mindset that gets you to go through the up and down. It's the mindset that holds you here until you give the time to build the skills. Yes? Remember, playing piano is going to be hard. I'm going to get tired at one point. But if I have the mindset, I'll stay. So skill set takes time. But can you build the right mindset very fast? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
I'll finish with this. Listen to me. You don't need to write this. We have 3 stages in our life. Our childhood, yes? Yes. Amazing time, no stress. And then our adulthood. And then our old age. Everyone agrees? Yes. I want you to give this business 5 to 7 years of everything you have. And I promise you, you'll go back and you'll relive your childhood for the rest of your life.
Who's ready to take their life to a whole nother level right now? Anybody? Well, I remember when I was 21 years old, it was the very first time coming to a convention like this, and they said you need 3 things to be successful in this business. Number 1, you need a mission. What's your mission? The good news is World Financial Group provides that mission called No Family Left Behind. Number 2, you need a system. And your executive vice chairman, your CEO, your great leader, they provide that system for you. But you need to come to the table with a vision. You need to have a vision. In the Bible it says if the leader has no vision, the people perish. So you've got to have a big vision, and that's where you come to the table. You got to come in here and say, what's my vision? What's my vision going to be for my family, for my organization? And I sat there 21 years old. I said, man, I need to have a vision. Because I don't know about you, but my entire life I wanted to be somebody, man. My entire life I wanted to do something big. I thought I was going to be in sports, but that didn't work out too well. So I took that competitive edge I had in sports and I brought it to this business, and game over. And now we have a huge, huge vision for our entire organization, and things are good. You know, a couple years later, I sat through a convention like this, and they said there's 2 things that you really, really need if you want to be successful. You need to have a big dream. You need to have God-sized dreams. Let me ask you a question. What is your big God-sized dream that you have for yourself and for your family? You know, I love my wife, Sandra. I love our 4 beautiful children, and I know that I'll do even more for them than I'll do for myself. I love our team, Pinnacle. I don't know if Pinnacle's in the house. And I know that I'll do more for them than I'll even do for myself. So what is your big, big, big God-sized dream? And let me ask you a serious question. How come you haven't accomplished that yet? The good news is you have what it takes, and that's why you're here. The bad news is it's probably going to take everything you got. So you need to ask yourself a question. When's the last time you gave anything in your life everything you got? I want you to know that this business is good enough for you to actually give your all. We have some amazing leaders in this organization, the founders, all the people that came before us. They're incredible people, people of integrity, people of character, and so you can plant your flag in a business like this. So you need a big, big, big dream, and you know what you need right after that? Is you need a crusade. You need a crusade. And just like World Financial Group's mission statement of no family left behind, what is your big, big, big crusade? Because they say when this business goes from your head to your heart is really when you're going to be successful. So when I was 21 years old, all I wanted was to be successful. I wanted to be wealthy. I wanted to have the big house. I wanted to have the nice cars. I wanted to have the beautiful wife and the family and be successful. And luckily we did all that, but guess what? It's way more than that. This business has to be way more than just money. This business has to be way more than just success. So finally, this business went from my head to my heart. I remember I was 29 years old. So let me tell you a little story. I was 29 years old. We recruited this amazing little Filipina lady. She was so awesome. And we became friends. And she was 59 and I was 29. And she used to do real estate. And I said, hey, we got to have you do this business and you got to make sure that you become a client. You know, if it makes sense for you, you got to be saving money. You got to protect your family because you got to practice what you preach. Because you can't tell everybody to go, you know, become a client, how great our products are if you're not even a client yourself. You can't sell shoes barefoot. And she said, yeah, I understand. She said, but Eric, you don't understand my story. I'm divorced. I don't have that much money. I'm a struggling real estate agent. My 2 daughters, they're already over 18. I don't really need life insurance. And I said, I understand, but guess what? You should be saving money. You should protect your family. Let's just do something small, like $100 a week that you can start saving, $1 million policy. And then, because whatever you have on your own life, you're going to be comfortable offering to others. She said, okay, Eric, that makes sense. I'm coachable. So she got a $1 million policy with one of our companies, and then we did the underwriting. A couple months later, she got approved. I said, congratulations, you got your policy, everything's good. And she said, okay, awesome. And then, about 6 weeks later, we were doing the training. I said, hey, we got to get this lady to SMB. We got to help her. And so they started doing home BMPs. I don't know if you know what that means, but bring the meeting to the people. So her and all her team, they were taking us to all these home presentations, and they were feeding me lumpia and pancit and adobo and all this stuff. It was great. I loved it, and we were having so much fun. And then I called this lady who's in business with me. She was a marketing director, and she said, Eric, I got bad news. I'm in the hospital. I just got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I said, what do you mean? You just got approved just a month ago for $1 million policy. What do you mean you have stage 4 cancer? And I'm young, 29 years old at the time. I said, it's okay, no worries. You're going to fight this. You're going to beat this because I know you're a fighter. You're strong. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rally your entire team, and we're going to go out there and we're going to get you to SMB. So that when you're out of the hospital and when you beat this cancer thing, you're going to be an SMB, right? And she said, okay, let's do it. So she's prospecting all the nurses in the hospital, and she's prospecting all the doctors in the hospital, and I'm gathering her huge team of like 6 people, and I go, hey, we got to do this. We got to go have more lumpia, more adobo, more pancit. Let's go to everybody's houses, right? We just got to start talking to everybody. And we were out there, and we were hustling, and we're grinding, and we're helping families, and we're doing big things. And I had the flag carrier, her flag carrier pushing her up, and we're visiting her at the hospital. Me and her 6 people, we're like, we're going to get you to SMB. When you get out of the hospital, you're going to be an SMB. This is how we roll. Because, hey, WFG is not just a business, we're a family. You understand? And so I said, hey, we got to get you to SMB. We got to make this happen. And she said, okay. And so we're gathering everything. We're waking up early. We're going to bed late. We say we only work half days, 12 hours a day. Right? The other 12 hours, you go do whatever you want. So we're doing all this. We're getting everything done. And then guess what? We just submitted everything officially for her SMB promotion. And I was so excited. I called her up. Hey, guess what? Great news. When you get out of the hospital, you're going to be an SMB. All the points are done. All the licensed agents are done. It's going to be awesome. When you get out, you're going to be SMB. She said, Eric, thank you everything you've done for me. But they just gave me 3 days to live. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I never had someone, really close to me pass away. And so 3 days later, she passed away. And a couple days after that, she got her SMB promotion approved. And it was kind of crazy. It was a pretty crazy experience. And then one of her daughters came to me and she said, Eric, I want you to speak at my mother's funeral. And I said, why would you want me to speak at your mother's funeral? I've only known her for 7 months. And she said, no, she said you were her coach. She said you were her mentor. She said you were her great friend. She said you were the one that gave her hope about life, and we want you to speak at the funeral. I said, oh man, I was talking to my wife Sandra. I was like, this is a big thing for me. And so I came to the funeral, and I was the guest speaker. And in one hand, I had a big old SMB plaque for one of her daughters, and on the other hand, I had $1 million check in my pocket. And it was a crazy experience for me. How much we helped that family, because I seen all her relatives. It was about 200 Filipinos. They were all about yay high, right? And then it was me, right? 6'5", big old football player, showing up to the funeral. Everyone's like, who's this guy, right? And I'm the guest speaker, right? And I'm sitting there talking about how important what we do here in our company is. Because all her relatives and all the great people there, they literally showed up with $10 flowers. They showed up with $15 flowers. They've known her for 30 years.
years, and they showed up with $15 flowers, and I showed up with a big old SMB plaque and $1 million tax-free check. So I was just thinking to myself, if we can help families this much, if what we do is this important, and I've only known this lady for 7 months, imagine if I got on a huge crusade to tell everybody what we do. Because I want you guys to know, our business is not accessories, it's a necessity. Okay? Everybody needs what we have. And even though, here's the truth, you ready? People are not going to be excited about talking to you about our business, but once they talk to you about our business, they're going to be glad they did. They're going to be glad they did. So when I was there, and I was passing on that SMB promotion to the daughter, and I was passing on that $1 million check to the other daughter, I said, what we do matters. What we do is important. What we do is serious. And when this business goes from your head to your heart, that's when you're going to be successful. Yes, we want you to make millions of dollars. Yes, we want you to change your life forever. But here's the deal. You got to get this business into your heart. What we do matters. And you have what it takes. You know for a fact that you can do this business. You just got to bring your all, and you just got to give your best. So let's truly leave no family left behind. What we do is so important. You have what it takes. There's a reason you're here. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that you have what it takes to be successful, but you got to give your best and you got to give your all. So I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, we can do this. We can do this. Turn to your neighbor and say, we got this. Get this crusade in your heart. Thank you guys very much.
Financial Group member, your success comes from your ability to focus on helping your clients create customized financial strategies. Associates Benefits Group is an exclusive association designed just for worldwide.
I've been on this stage, and the energy from last night to this morning has been incredible. It's an honor and a privilege to help kick off what is sure to be a life-changing event. If not, already it has been for some of you. Starting last night, this morning, I don't remember a morning session of speakers like we've just had. Was Eric incredible or what? That was amazing. And what's interesting is, leading up to convention, everyone always asks, what is the purpose of convention? Some will say it's about motivation and inspiration. Some would say, hey Victor, we build our business from big event to big event. That's what it's about. Others will say, we do training here. And you know what the right answer is? It's probably a combination of all those things. But the ultimate reason why we put this event on for you is to help you make a decision. That's the bottom line. Every single person in this room is going to make a decision by the time they walk out those doors tomorrow at 5 p.m. Every single one. If you're brand new to WFG, you may decide that this is for you. If you're in WFG but you haven't got your license yet, you might make that commitment, the decision that you're going to go get your license. Maybe you've been in this business for 10 years, but your business has hit a plateau. And you're going to make a decision to go on a run again. But every single person here is going to make a decision. And it's my job over the next 18 to 20 minutes to give you some evidence, some proof as to why you are in the right place, at the right time, with the right industry, and with the right and best company in financial services. I'm not big into quotes, but I do believe in the 3 Ds. The 3 Ds are decisions, determine, direction. I don't care how big the decision is or how small it is. In about an hour and a half from now, you're all going to go out to get lunch. You're going to decide, am I going to eat something healthy or unhealthy? Am I going to get that burger or that grilled salmon? That little decision sets you on a direction for your health, right? Every decision you make matters.
hopefully you're going to hear some things that help you. And I'm going to start with what Eric ended with, which is our purpose. This is why we're here. You're going to hear that phrase, no family left behind. Everything starts with our purpose. $90 billion of death benefits were paid out by our industry in 2020. Everybody knows that had a lot to do with COVID. Now, some of you are saying, Victor, why is that relevant to this conversation? It's relevant because the last time our industry paid out that kind of death benefit was over 100 years ago, in 1918. Does anybody know what was happening in 1918? The Spanish flu, exactly. So why this matters, and I don't know about you, but if I'm considering an opportunity, I want to join an industry where what I do, the solutions I provide, the services I provide is needed. People need you more than ever. That's what this represents. So everything starts with our purpose. You're going to hear that over and over again. Now, how are we doing on this purpose? Well, let's take a look. You know, we track our success on a rolling 12-month basis. So we just cut this off June 30th. A lot of the recognition last night was based on June 30th. So June 30th, 12 months before, over 212,000 people joined our business, over 300,000 policies, 86% net point ratio. If you're brand new to WFG, you have no idea what that last number means, I will tell you. It represents our quality of business. When I came to WFG 10 years ago in 2012, that number was in the low 70s. Now we're doing more business than we've ever done, and the quality of our business is up. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm making a decision on what team to join, I want to join a winning team. How about you? I want to join a team that's breaking records. What's not on that slide is the fact that we broke 7 monthly records in the last 12 months. 7. Not 1, not 2, not 3, 7. Now, monthly records are great, but you know what's even better? Annual records. Which is why, for the first time in history, I'm happy to announce that WFG has broke 1 billion points in a single year. That is a championship banner. First time ever. Which means we paid out over $1 billion in commission for the first time in the history of the company. If someone else is talking to you about another company, just ask them, have you guys paid out $1 billion in commission yet? No? Call me when you do. That's not the only record we broke. I think you might have noticed that the home office and the all company legends like Monty Home and Rich Stolley and Swan, you might have noticed we were up here for a long time during the ring ceremony. When you do 1 billion points, a lot of people are having success. So we broke the most ring earners in the history of the company in a single year. Almost 2,000. There were so many we had to, as Rich said, exclude a category of $100,000 ring earners. We just couldn't fit them all in. That's a lot of hands to high five, by the way. But you know what the most important record we broke last year? Again, it always goes back to our purpose. We protected the most families that we ever have in a 12-month period in the history of this company. It always goes back to our purpose. Now, when people are looking at this opportunity, or any opportunity, we're going to leave those up there because those are our championship banners. When you are looking for an opportunity, most people, and I don't care if it's joining a company like WFG as an entrepreneur, or even if you're trying to come to the home office and you want to interview with me, most candidates want to know the same 3 things. Can I make money? Is there an opportunity for growth? Can I move up in this organization? And do you have a purpose? Every person I've ever interviewed, they always ask those questions. So when we talk about let's answer that first question, and I clicked it, so hopefully it'll go to the next slide. But when I ask that question, can we move up in this country? Can we go back one slide, please? This answers that first question. Can you move up in this organization? The answer is yes. If you're new to WFG and you have no idea
what all this alphabet soup is? All you need to know is that that means that yes, you can move up in this organization. Over 726 SMBs. Look at how many EDC promotions we had in a year, 23. For those of you that are new, I asked a couple of EDCs before this talk, hey, when you joined in 2000 or 2004, how many EDC promotions were there in a single year, the year you joined? These were the responses. 0, 1, someone said maybe I think we had 2. 23 in a single year. Is this company growing? You know, we talked about ring earners. Let me ask you guys a rhetorical question. Actually, I want to hear everybody just go ahead and answer. In your day job that you were at, or maybe you're still at, is it okay to share with your coworkers how much money you make? No, right? Start some office drama. You may get called into HR. It's not allowed. But at WFG, you know what we do? We'll tell the entire arena how much money you make. We'll put your name on a slide. We'll put you on a website. In fact, we give you jewelry that tells you how much money you make. You know why? Because in WFG, you're not in business just by yourself, right? You are in it for yourself, but not by yourself. You have everybody in the arena rooting for you. That's the difference in our culture. And you want to know another thing? Most people who are not in their business, they dream of making a 6-figure income. That's part of the American dream. Look at how many we had brand new, $100,000 ring earners last year. Almost 600. Almost 600 people. That next American dream that most people dream about is making $1 million, 7 figures. For most people, they'll never see that, and they don't know how to get that. We had, 24 brand new millionaires in this company last year. So that answers that other question. Can I earn income in this company? What do you think?
Yes. And you know what? You're going to take
Now, some of you rightfully should ask, that's great, Victor, but that's last year.
I already bought
Where are you guys going? You showed me that this is the right industry. You showed me that you guys are having success and you are breaking records, but where are you going? That's what people want to know. So I'll tell you where we're going. In 2025, we are going to double this company. First thing, in 1 year, in 2025, we're going to have 400,000 recruits in a single year. By the end of 2025, today we have 58,000 licenses in North America. By the end of 2025, we're going to have 100,000 licenses in this business. And I just showed that championship banner for 1 billion points. We're going to do 2 billion in a single year by the end of 2025. And most importantly, we're going to pay out $2 billion of commission. How many want a piece of that $2 billion? But again, the most important number that we're going to finish with is we're going to help 1 million families in a single year. Now the question is how? How are we going to do that? Those are some big goals, doubling. Well, here's another advantage of being a part of WFG. See, we have a sister company in Transamerica, a globally recognized brand. If you watch any romantic comedy, you'll see the pyramid in the back of the shot. I don't know why they're all filmed in San Francisco, but that's what you'll see. Then we have our parent Aegon. Let me walk through a quick mathematical equation for you guys. See if you can pick it up. Transamerica represents 2/3 of the earnings of Aegon. WFG represents 70% of the life insurance sales for Transamerica. Let me walk that back. WFG represents 70% of the life sales for Transamerica. Transamerica represents 2/3 of the earnings for Aegon. So the question is, how important is WFG to Aegon? Very important. The good news for us is that our new president and CEO of Aegon, Lard Friese, and our new president and CEO of Transamerica, Will Fuller, who you'll hear from tomorrow, they agree, which is why they've agreed to invest millions of dollars of capital investment to help us double. So now the billion-dollar question is, what are you going to invest in? Well, that starts with This is a world-class organization. You need a world-class platform. Do you agree? So the MyWFG you know today is going to change. Next year, we're going to run a brand new MyWFG website. Brand new regional capabilities, brand new tools, starting with, and I know all of the people in the front row, the leaders who care about this the most, Pulse is coming back. We are bringing back the Pulse app. So stay tuned for more news on that. That is coming back. That's just one piece. We're also investing in our broker-dealer. If we are going to double this company, we have to grow TFA. TFA has to get better. So we just signed a deal with Fidelity to use their e-money platform.
Yeah.
Anybody ever heard of Fidelity?
Yes.
This is gonna be a game changer for you registered reps, and if you're thinking about joining the broker-dealer, now's the time. Because the platform's gonna get easier, it's gonna be easier to submit business, your client's gonna get access to tools they don't have today. George Chung, president of TFA, you will hear from him tomorrow, he'll give you more details. How about support? Field agent support team. You guys are gonna start hearing about FAST. FAST is gonna become part of our nomenclature. What is FAST? Well, let me hit you with a couple of statistics. You know that billion-point record we just smashed? Half of that, over 500 million, came from marketing directors and below. You know the 212,000 recruits? 84% of that came from marketing directors and below. So don't you think marketing and directors and below should have access to call the home office? I agree. So you're going to be hearing over the next couple of months how we're going to do that, who gets what phone number. But I'm telling you right now, first and foremost, we're starting with our brand new licenses. You're going to hear a big announcement with all the details the next couple of weeks, but I'm going to announce it right now. Going forward, every new license will have a dedicated contact at the home office. Now, some of you are thinking, Victor, these are great announcements, but is that it? Is that it? I had lunch with my good friend John Cordero. Where's John at? We were having some wheat germ pancakes in the Bay Area, and he was telling me, he's like, Victor, I'm not asking you to tell me what the announcements are, but you know this is the first time we're gonna be together in 3 years, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, so they gotta be bigger than usual. They gotta be really big, brother. And how many of you here care about compensation? What I'm about to announce is not from the home office. If you see these individuals walking around, you better give them a stronger handshake, a bigger hug, a harder high five. Penny Oy, Rocky Sheen, Raja Dhaliwal, Swan Wynn, Eric Olson, Monty Home, Rich Stolley, Ed Milet. I'm trying to think about everybody that was in that room. Bill Mitchell, forgot about Bill Mitchell. All of these leaders have been working on your behalf and fighting to increase comp. So, let's start with Canada. Is Canada in the house? Congratulations, Canada, you're getting a raise.
Yeah.
The broker-dealer, TFA, I just talked about Fidelity. Having a world-class platform is only part of the picture. If you're a registered rep at TFA, guess what? You're getting a raise too. Now I know right now everybody in the U.S. is like, what about us? Is the U.S. in the house? Well, you guys are getting a raise as well. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, we just gave out, I feel like Oprah right now. You get a raise and you get a raise. It's because your field leaders fight for you. They know how much you mean to them. They know you deserve more. So on behalf of your field leadership, congratulations. I'm going to end with this. It's not on there, but I'm going to end with this. With all of this compensation, and you're going to hear more details in the next couple of weeks, don't worry. With all of the rings, the records, the banners, the compensation increases, guys, at the end of the day, none of it matters without our purpose. None of it matters. I wrote an article last year about my dad that I called Purpose Over Premium. And I want to end with this. The way this commission gets paid out is usually based on something called target premium. If you're new to this industry, premiums with drives, those rings, for the most part. If that's all you focus on, you're going to be in this business for a very short time. If you focus on your purpose, the purpose of why we're here, believe me, the premium will come. Thank you very much.
Industry. And yet, he's still such a humble man. He's dedicated his past nearly 40 years to show us what clarity is. What is the clarity in building a system? He always asks, what would you do exactly, you know exactly how to win? Do we have that clarity? Please help me welcome System Builder, Executive Chairman, Mr. Swan Nguyen.
Please welcome Swan Nguyen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It was a wonderful convention so far. Last night was fantastic. And today, this was very, very wonderful presentation from all the speaker before. And I'm sure that we're going to have a lot more wonderful leaders going to share to you. But what we share to many of your new or your teammates see today is we are the best of the best here. Okay? So last night I have the dinner with a lady, and she said to me, Mrs. Swan, I look at all these people. They do things so fast. It's just like they have a Ferrari. And I looked at my car, I'm a Toyota. So how am I be able to compete with these people? And besides Mrs. Swan, seems like they have all the Ferrari team. I look at my team, that Toyota, sometimes they don't even have wheels on it. Well, I asked her, by the way, this your Toyota, have you get started yet? She said, yeah, I tried it sometime. So I said, okay, let me talk with you about building a little bit. So, you know, for many of us here, you know, just like an elephant, you're going to look at this business from a different angle. And every angle of the elephant will describe the elephant. Some of us have an experience to touch all parts of elephant, but some of us maybe some one or two parts. And you have a different perspective about this. And we're going to look to cash flow, we're going to look to a number of recruit, we're going to look to so many numbers, promotion. But by the end of the day, our business, personally, I believe that we are in the business of building people. And I hope that you don't ever forget it. When you bring a person in, you have a very, very heavy responsibility to that person. So when you go to business, there's a lot of things you need to learn, and many of them very tangible. A lot of them is intangible, but the tangible sometimes will catch your attention a lot easier, faster. But the intangible may take you a long time, especially in building people business. And building people is pretty hard. Many Toyota are sitting here. You feel like you're not moving anywhere, and you're just wondering. And let me share with you my perspective about building people. Our business is to start with somebody, usually the nobody. They're very shy, they're uncommitted, they have a lot of doubt, and certainly they have a lot of fear. And you can treat them, and sometimes, I talk about system. The system is a set of guidelines, whether it's a 3330 or 55 or whatever the number but people is not a number business. People is not a number, it's a human being. And many times we didn't pay attention to the real people. We lost the system in translation. So, building people, really building people, it takes a long process. It takes sometimes not a few months, but many years or even decades. That's why we need a lot of help, we need a lot of support, we need a lot of teamwork, we need a lot of meetings, we need a lot of convention, and we need a lot of coaching. In fact, it seems to me that this business more likely is about a giant coaching system from the very start all the way to the top. And not to be surprised, even the best player in the world, whether Tiger Woods, the tough fighter in the world, they have a coach. So, building people, according to me, start with this. Usually in the medical part of the business, we say we got to first start them. We're going to visit them, or we sit down with them, we show them what business look like, answer questions about compensation, how you make money, how our product works, get the prospect list, 330, field training, blah, blah, blah. That's important. But actually, the most important thing to me is, John, if I recruit you and your wife, you're probably the very first thing I want to do is want to get to know you. It's a simple rule. If you don't know them, you cannot build them. So if I recruit John, I need to know him. And also, on the other hand, John needs to know me. Because how can we build someone when we don't know? Chances are a lot of people because of your excitement or lack of experience and the way you translated the system, you did not. You missed that part. Sometimes you run a 2330 and you run whatever system you are, and you keep running that thing, but you don't know people. And you're always wondering where they are going, where they missing, or why they're not existing. So say I need to know John and you know his wife. And I need to have a chance for him to know me, and if possible, my wife too. Because first of all, my time very important, so is his. If I have to spend some time with someone, I need to know. You know? Because it's easy I come in and do the recruit, the sale, and run to another appointment. And maybe I hit my number, my day shop maintain a certain high number, but I still don't know my people. So I need to know what they want to do with their life, their goal, and their dream, and where they want to accomplish it. And I also want to know their situation too. And I also want to know if this person is ready to be built. A lot of people say, yes, show me how to do this, exactly how to do it. Usually I answer those people, first of all, I'm not a magician. And I'm also a miracle man. I only can work with the people who want to go to work. So I need to know, it might be time, and a lot of time I resort money I invest to someone, is that well worth my investment if the person is ready? There's no way we're going to invest that valuable time and resort to people who is not ready. So if you have to write down building people, because actually for some of our technical error, we said that's a little slide, but the slide only have 3 lines, so very easy. The first line is building people. The second line, just write down relationship. Okay? Yes, 3330, yes, prospect list, yes, joint own share, yes, all those stuff. But really, what I want to do is to sit down with John and his wife. I want to know who is he, and I want them to create that relationship. I want to look at his eye the way he looked at me, because I can tell. So after all said and done, when I walk out of the house and the door closed behind me, all I want to know, and listen to the air, and maybe through the air will tell me, his wife tell him, John, I don't think I feel good about this guy. So the air tell me that, I know I don't have a chance to come back. That relationship is not well established. It's going to be a long, rocky road with that person. Or maybe they don't have a chance if I start the person. But if I walk out and the air tell me when I get to my car, honey, seems like he's all right, then I got it. You see, during that meeting, that contact, him and his wife, somehow human being, they can feel you, they can smell you, and they can tell if you're the kind of people that they want to and to work with. So that when we have that kind of, and myself too, I need to know if these are the kind of people that are going to be able to work with me. Now, I want to have a precaution, because sometimes we have to be very careful, because sometimes we may reject people too. So we need to have a higher level of tolerance when we deal with people. Personally, you have this always think that everybody can do this business, and everybody, even though they have a lot of weakness, but they always have strength to be able to do this business. So when you have that connection, then the rest will be the beginning of a long relationship. So the relationship will have to increase over time, because that relationship have to involve a lot of care. Because nobody would work with someone who don't care about their future. And also, it's not one-way street. I want to know if he cares about me. So when that care established, then we have some level of trust. The more we work together, it's not just fast start and go to another person, but a process of many times. When that person begin to increase the trust, I need to have that trust. Why? Right out of the third line. From relationship, I want to achieve something called leadership.
Yes.
That's all the reason we have that relationship. And also it's a danger point. A lot of time, we may have a lot of relationship, but we not necessarily have leadership. You know, many times I see people who work with someone, we are very close with them. Whatever they ask, we deliver to them. We go lunch with them, we go dinner with them, we drink with them, we sing with them, we dance with them, we hang around with them. But that relationship sometimes becomes friendship, which is very good. People will stay with you. We retain a lot of people through friendship and relationship. But not necessarily. But sometimes you are too friendship, it may not have the necessary leadership to move people. Friendship is to retain, but leadership is to move people. So, talk about leadership a little bit. Well, what kind of leadership you are? See, many times, many of us, in a certain period of time, we do pretty well. Seems to me that some of us have the magic touch because everything you touch is moving. But sometimes you realize that you call a shot, they don't do it. Well, and I see it all over the organization. You know, many people who be with the people long enough, and they get frustrated because they call a shot, the team don't listen. And there's a team member asked me, how you can tell me if I have leadership one? I say, just call the shot, just ask them to show up or do something that's a little bit inconvenient. For example, anytime they ask you to come, you show up. You show up 10 times, but when a person you ask them to show up here one time, like a convention like that, they don't let me think about it. So they don't show up, which means that when you go to shop and they don't do it, there's no leadership there. And it's not their problem, mostly your problem, because are you the kind of leader they wish to follow? Leadership is a hard part in this business because sometimes in the journey of our business, we move up on the ladder and we have certain title or we certain have a knowledge or know-how, and we may forget what we used to do to make us successful. That's why it's hard to tell people to do something when you're not. So leadership, you have to always see that if you can earn that. Everything in the business is two-way street. Relationship, we always talk a lot about coachable. Well, and then Why is that? Because coachability is so important in business. And so is uncoachability also very, very difficult to do the business. But a lot of people will not follow you or don't listen to you because sometimes it's not because of them. Because you are not deserved to become a coach. You are not deserved to become a leader. So, because if you are a strong leader, then you will attract, people will follow you if you lead. But if you too many times you walk down line, you're gonna go down with them. Because you did not exercise what a leadership should do. Leader always lead ahead, always go in front. Then people will follow. So let me also talk with you about what is our job as a leader. I mean, too many of us make too important about the mechanical of the business and also the intangible or the technical of the business. But then the other part of business is the intangible, the character, the feeling, the effort, the kindness, the caring, the integrity. That is much more important than other tangible. A lot of people, I see that when things doesn't go well, they come into training, and mostly mechanical and the tangible. But it's not so. Most people want to know is that, what is your vision? So important about vision, business, to me, about helping people, building people, is to build people from a low level vision or no vision to people have a bigger vision. I think this is more important than many other tangible part. So when a person will join you, if people have no vision, there will be no action. Look at those people, when you put people in, why the very simple thing like they don't ask them to show up and they don't? Ask them to even get license, they take it forever. Why? Because they have no vision. It's not they don't have that capability. People would do something if they see it. People never see, never do something that they don't see. So no vision, no action. People have little vision. They probably do something. Then they get license. They will show up sometime. They will do when it's convenient. Of course, they have little vision, they have little action. But then people, and then they move up the ladder. Some of them I call it medium-sized vision. Our job is constantly stretching the people's vision. You always talk about your vision, and you talk about their vision. It's too easy when you tell them you gotta do this, you gotta do that. You tell them that what they're supposed to do, you give them the vision, but they don't know what your vision is. Because they don't see it. Your vision has to come with your action to match with your vision too. Because you want to stretch their vision so that they can do the action. But chances are your people look at you and say, hey, he have a lot of vision, but he do nothing.
Congruencia.
Oh. All right. Maybe I have to do more production to qualify more time. Anyway, I just and you know, talk about it. So people get to maybe give a few minutes. I think there's some issue with the leadership of the company, because Susan told me that you have a little bit more time. So, but I respect you, Andrew. I did ask permission. I'm not really imposing. I did ask, and she said, "You're okay to go." Well, whatever. Okay. So, and then here's just the problem of the middle vision people. They get to SMD, and then they go have a base shop. But chances are most people stop at the middle vision. They do whatever. But it comes to the hard part. Most middle level vision have a big trouble to articulate that big vision. So when you are stuck at somewhere, it's all about a clear vision that you can articulate. And then probably you hard to articulate that because you do not figure out your action to be able to articulate that clear vision. So, but the people who have a big vision, that's going to be a different level, because even they don't say a lot. But their action, their move, and everything about them, you can see it, you can feel it, and it's very clear to them that they are the people with a big vision. And the people with a big vision, they are relentless, they are unstoppable.
Yes!
Now back to the Toyota people. When you go to this business, you gotta know who you are. Don't try to be somebody else that you are not. Mm-hmm. There's always a place in the sun for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Not everybody have to be fast. You know, the turtle also get to their destination too.
Yeah.
And you know, luckily, WFG is not a race, but a destination that you choose. As long as you work on it. So don't be looking to, the Ferrari on the stage here and feel depressed. All my life, I gotta know me. First of all, I know I don't talk fast. I know my limitation. And I discovered in my early days, the little guy, the turtle guy, the slow guy do have a place in the sun. My first sale, I was so scared. I drive around many times before I get to the house. But because I drive the last time, the third time I pass the house, I want to get into the house, but I still don't. So the guy in the house opened the door and says, son, this is the house. So I come in, my hand is shaking, I'm mumbling, and somehow by a miracle they buy. And I tell them, and so later on, I ask the guy, why you buy from me? I say, a scary guy like you, a shaking guy like you cannot tell a lie. That's why I like it.
Oh, yeah!
And then later on, I become a very flashy guy. You know, I get to talk about selling, about recruiting, like in my speech. And the guy don't join me. So I asked, why you don't join me? I'm so good. And he say, well, you look like a salesman to me. So Turtle, Toyota, you do have a place to sell. Happy birthday.
Thank you for the message from a wise man. Whether you are a Toyota or you're a Ferrari, we are so blessed. We're still traveling on the same road to the same destination with the same company. And we have a long lifetime to do it. Our final speaker, our honored guest speaker tonight is going to help us close this session, this morning session. He's actually the founder and director of MIT Age Lab. How many of you wish you can learn from MIT professor? Just welcome, deputy welcome, to welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Joseph Coughlin.
Please welcome Dr. Coughlin.
Oh, not those pants.
Thank you so much, WFG, and boy, Swan is a hard act to follow. Plus, I'm the guy who's holding you up for lunch. Think about that. I want to talk to you today because I am always inspired by being here, but I want to share with you some thinking that we've been doing in the lab around the psychology of your clients, how they behave, how they're thinking, and the like. I want to thank Transamerica WFG for having me, and all of you for listening, and I had a great time chatting with many of you in the hall and the like. We all have teams. If you like what I have to say, these are the people that deserve the credit. They are my students and researchers at the Institute that do amazing work. And by the way, as you can tell, if you're not having fun doing what you're doing it wrong.
Yep.
So what do we want to talk about today? I want to have two parts of my conversation with you. I want to get into your client's brain. In fact, I want to get into your brain. You know, in order to do what Swan was talking about, relationships, friendships, leadership, you must not only know yourself, you must know them. You must know the context that they are living in, how they're thinking, how they're processing information, and how to cut through the clutter when necessary. So I would say over the past couple of years, there is something that characterizes how we've all been living. By the way, class participation is 10% of your grade today. You're allowed to shout out answers. COVID, pandemic, but more importantly, stress. Think about it. Just when we thought the pandemic was done, we had inflation, we had war, people even talk about maybe even nuclear war, whatever way, price of bacon, price of gas. You see, when you talk to people about their financial security, that's not what they're thinking. They want to know what financial security, their longevity means in the context of all this noise that's around us. So when you're stressed, what do? Well, a lot of us read the newspaper. Imagine this, all the articles in the New York Times, yes, we do these things at MIT, we counted up the number of articles that were headlined with crisis. And look at the numbers of how they've grown. Just when you thought things were getting better, we're on par to have as much crisis in the news as we did before. Now, when you're stressed and you're in a state of crisis, what do? I saw all of you last night. You're doing this. Well, maybe a few of us are doing that. But if we're honest, when we need advice, when we're in stress, you know where we really go? Even when we have a medical problem, we go here. We go to Dr. Google. And just to show you something, over time, the number of us searching on things around stress and anxiety from 2004 to present has gone up 3x. So it's not just a matter of where you think you're stressed, everyone else is. By the way, when I say everyone else, I want you to think about this. The darker the state, the greater the number of stressed people doing searches. I don't know what was going on in North Dakota in 2004, but they stood alone. But the good news is we're all whacked out now at 222. And I don't want to leave my cousins from Canada, and I do have many in Quebec and in Ontario. We're stressed up there as well, apparently. So if you look at all the stressed out countries, these are the ones that are the highest out there doing searches on what do I do next? And by the way, that's your opportunity. They're going to be looking for someone to look to for navigating their future, navigating their longevity. So, when you're faced with something you don't understand, you don't know, you don't like, and I hate snakes, we go to what we call the reptilian brain. It's back underneath my bald head right here. And when you see something that you don't know, you ask yourself quietly, am I going to eat it or is it going to eat me? So you go into fight or flight mode. Your prospects, your clients, 90% of us in the country and around the world, these days, we're in fight or flight mode. So what does that mean? What's the psychology of how we're thinking about the world? Well, we go to the news and we look for what's going on, and we find that the news is, frankly, it's constant, it's conflicting, and frankly, it's confusing. We're not sure what is inflation, what's transitory, what's pandemic, what shot we should have, how many of them we should have. And what happens is, this is a very geeky little curve I want to show you, and all of you feel it every day. How many of you, by the way, are jocks? You know, you're the people that know your pulse rate. Raise your hands. You know what this is? Are you in the zone? You know what this is? If I stress you out just enough to keep you excited, you'll pay attention. You'll do what I want you to do. But if I press you too far, say, by the way, you've got to quadruple your numbers by next quarter, I'm going to push you over the other end, and you'll shut down. One of the challenges we have with stress is we need just enough to keep you up, but too much shuts you down. Your clients, in many cases, your customers out there, are on that level, if you will, of maybe being shut down. So I don't know about you, but my mom said anytime I had a problem, Joe, it's all in your head. Well, I'm showing you a scan, fMRI scan, that shows that when you're in stress, it is all in your head. Your brain fires up differently. It's not just behavior, it's physiological. And something else. And this is where you can really help your clients. Do you know that when you're stressed behind the wheel, somebody cuts you off? Do you know you're most stressed 15 to 20 minutes after that happened? The cortisol's running through your veins, you're getting all stressed. But here's what happens. Your physical vision, your peripheral vision begins to tunnel because you're going into fight or flight mode. And guess what happens? When we talk about finances and people get nervous around finance, we go into tunnel vision. I don't understand. I don't want to hear it. Just tell me what I need to do now. You have to take them by the hand and show them it's going to be okay. So think about Japan. Talk about a bad month, bad week, bad year. They had an earthquake, then they had a tidal wave, and then a nuclear meltdown. Well, believe it or not, if you looked at the people that lived through that constant stress, these are brain cells. Their brains actually shrank. When we're stressed, we start making fewer connections. We start listening less. We don't want to hear anything. That's when it's the most important for you to be able, not just as Swan was saying, to have a relationship or a friendship, but that leadership quality to be able to tell them it's going to be okay and we move forward. Now, I run a thing called the Age Lab, so of course age matters. I got good news and bad news for all. As you age, you actually start to filter out negative information. How many of us have heard the phrase, or at my age, started to use it, life is too short for that? You know what that means? I don't want to hear it. I don't have to deal with it. And by the way, as a result, if you get over 60, life's pretty good. We'll come back to that in a minute. The bad news is you start to not notice real things that you better pay attention to. Like, you know, Joe, too close to the edge, you're going to fall off the stage. Now, if you're younger, you want to know the rules. You want to look at the negative information. These are the folks who are looking for motivation. So you don't have to study this chart, but I'm going to break this all into 3 groups, which I'll come back to later. I've got great news for you. We all know that it's great being 18 or 21. Generally speaking, you have your parents' credit card, life is good. Yeah, you gotta get a job. Look at that curve, it starts to go downhill. Physical, emotional, happiness in life. I'm sorry for everyone in the room that's between 37 and 57 years old. It is the lowest point of your well-being. Sorry for that. But, remember what I said about being older? Look at this. Over age 60, suddenly you're on more medications, you're divorced, your kids aren't talking to you, but life is pretty good. But what you're looking at is a curve you should learn. Younger people want to know the rules. What's the guardrail? How do you motivate me to move forward? Those of us in the middle, I don't know where my kids are in the next 30 minutes, and you're trying to get me to plan for the next 30 years. Be cognizant of that. Have bites of conversation with me. Don't ask for breakfast. And when it comes to being over 60 or over 70, don't tell me what I'm going to lose. Don't tell me my risk. Empower me to manage that risk so I don't leave my partner with that risk. Woo. Now, you needed some guy from MIT to tell you that boys and girls are different, right? Well, we are. And by the way, guys, don't get too uppity. This is all going to go downhill for us in a moment. Men and women are very different. Under stress, men need to do something. We got to do something. We got to take action. There's a problem. We after all have to show leadership, confidence. We don't all have to show competence. That's another issue. Women, on the other hand, not necessarily better decisions or feel that they have any less urgency. They look for advice. They phone a friend. Women are your catalyst for client relationships. We'll come back to that in a moment. They're the ones who want to talk, want more information. As I write my book, The Future is Female, my 2 daughters and my wife and the cat they fixed told me to say that. The other thing is that when we're under stress, we're risk averse. I don't know what you're selling, what you're doing, but if it sounds risky, I can't deal with it. So cut it up in small chunks when you present the information, the product, the process, whatever you're talking about. And by the way, when I'm under stress, when I'm in that fight or flight mood, if it's ambiguous and I don't fully understand it, forget it. Even if it's a winning lottery ticket and it looks like there's a chance I'm going to lose, not going to play with it. So we're going to end up with some really geeky sociological, psychological terms, and I'll cut them into English in a minute. We're going to feel normlessness, meaninglessness, powerlessness. You know what that means? If I don't understand it, I'm under constant stress, the news doesn't make any sense, the experts seem to be wrong, or experts are always conflicting each other, the norms, that is the rules, are broken, so there's nothing going on. Meaningless, I can't make sense of this. But here's the parts you, as leaders, as relationship builders, as friendships, break through and say you are not powerless. You can take command of your future. Let me guide you. So how many of you remember what you were doing March of 2020?
Oh my God, I did that.
We saw you in Sam's Clubs, Costco's, all the other places. When we are stressed, we want to take action. We want to do something. So we did actually, and people made fun of all of us that were buying toilet paper by the pallet load. But the fact of the matter is, that was the one thing we knew we could take control, and for the most part, we knew we would need. And by the way, technology became the second toilet paper. So that's your lesson in Psych 101 around stress and how your clients, and frankly, all of you, think when you have those down moments, whatnot, do a reality check as to what might be putting you in that narrow where you don't see that future, you don't see that hill that you're going to climb, that makes WFG what you are today. So here's the so what. Your clients are not only facing the now. I've got great news for you. You see all these cute kids? You know why they're cute, by the way? They're not teenagers yet. That's why they're still cute. But children born today in nearly half the industrialized world are likely to live 100 years. Think about what that means. How many jobs will you have? How many times will you move? How many Toyotas will you buy, if you will, after what we were talking about with Swan? Will my wife for 36 years want to hear me tell the same jokes over and over again? All of you are amazing at financial literacy. I want to introduce to you what should be the overarching goal, longevity literacy. You cannot do anything without financial security, much like electricity. But unless you define what you do, the products, the processes, the conversations you have, in the context of my life, I don't get it. So I want to walk you through some storylines, if you will, across those 3 age groups. This is how you make that contact. This is how you make yourself not just available and acceptable and affordable, but purposeful. I need you now. Don't tell me about a future self of me far in the distance. How do you relate to actually solve my problems today? So as Swan was talking earlier, I want you to think about it. This is a study we did not too long ago, less than a year ago, on what is the ideal financial professional. And we asked people across the country, nice sample. I want you to look at what was in the red. Yes, there was the finance, the complexity, the risk management, I mean money, my retirement plan. But you know something? That's not what makes you you. The reason why I'm always excited to come speak to all of you is that you fill in the other gaps that apparently clients are looking for. They want a confidant. They want an educator. Swan mentioned it earlier. They want a coach. And yes, they want a friend. They want someone who would envision that future. They want someone to help them navigate longevity. Longer life, approaching 85, 95, 100 years, is new territory. We don't know how to navigate that. All of you have got the processes, the products, and indeed conversations to help guide me. So I'm going to ask a question. This will show how many of you are real geeks and how many of you that are actually fun to go to the bar with. When you go to put together a puzzle, what do? What's the first thing you do? You in the cheap seats, what's the first thing you do? I just see there's a few geeks over here, must be a few engineers. They want to get the corners. They put the corners. No one likes you. The rest of us use the picture. What's the picture on the box? When it comes to longevity, when it comes to retirement, what to do next, most of us are going without that picture. We need someone to not tell us what to do, but what the possibilities might be, to be able to navigate that future. And here's the thing. As I navigate my 100 years, my 30, 40, 50 years, whatever that person may have left. You know, there was a study done by there's an art school up the river from us. What's it called? Oh yeah, Harvard, that's it. Great study said that, you know, when you go to buy a drill, are you actually buying a drill? Are you buying the brand? Are you buying the product, the price, the color? What are you buying? You're buying a whole. You're not buying the product. You're not buying the brand. If you want to be real innovators, if you want to make real contact, you want to ensure that people know you are there to sell them solutions, that you understand their problem today and you can anticipate what it will be tomorrow, and the solution you are offering, be it a product, be it a process, but it's going to help them manage and navigate through. By the way, always look at other parts of your life for inspiration of how to reach your customers and clients. Solutions sell. When you go to buy lettuce, Fresh Express learned that, gee, you don't really want to buy lettuce, do you? What were you buying? A salad. And so they cut up everything, put the carrots in, some cases dressing, and we just pray that they say they triple washed it. And you drop it into the bowl, and you've got a salad. Best Buy realized that you weren't in Best Buy to buy a television. Your job that you were trying to achieve was what? To watch TV. So they created Geek Squad saying, okay, you buy it, install it, your job is to sit on your butt on Sunday and watch it. And then finally, Volvo is now saying, you know, you really don't want to buy a car. You don't want to own a car. Toyota's doing the same thing. All the car companies are. We're now thinking about subscription. Because what you're buying is mobility. You're not buying a piece of tin that costs you once a month. So what are the jobs of longevity that you need to start steering people toward or for? Let's think about those 3 groups, if you will. Remember, the folks that are motivated, the people that are muddling through, those that want to manage the future. Well, guys, I told you this was going to go downhill for you. The fact of the matter is that the future is female. It has always been. to 90 cents on the dollar of almost anything worth buying, from automobiles to healthcare to housing to consumer products, are directed, influenced, or directly purchased by a female. Do you know Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, companies like that, for the most part, don't even do focus groups with men anymore? Heck, my wife buys my razors anyway, so what's the point? But the fact of the matter is, she's the chief consumer officer. So even though you may have a guy in front of you that's very much in control and the breadwinner and everything else, she's the one who actually knows how the money's being spent and is often the one that's left holding the bag after he planned poorly. But keep in mind the following. She didn't get this job easily. She is busy. She is juggling childcare, elder care. She's got a spouse who can't make a tuna fish sandwich. And by the way, she also has a life and a career. This tells you that she's not really going to be excited when you say, well, let's get together for lunch and we can talk about this, or well, let's talk about something in the future. No, you had better be realistic, responsive to what she needs now to understand where she's going in the future. I was warned, that's enough mansplaining for the day. So let's talk about the motivation years, the younger years with younger people. Here's the conversations you should be thinking about. School debt. 35% of people go to college. 35% of them, 100% of them, usually walk out with some sort of debt. That is putting a crunch, not just on them, but think about this. Research we did at the Age Lab, you know who else is paying school debt? People in their 50s. Some of it's their own debt, some of it's their kids. And by the way, a lot of grandparents are sacrificing their own financial well-being and security to make sure that grandchild has that education. This is a conversation that is full of emotion. And if I can leave you with a soundbite today, remember, emotion puts money in motion. Don't be afraid of those conversations. That's where relationships are built, friendships are constructed, and leadership is defined. And who's buying houses? Believe it or not, women, younger women in their 30s are buying homes at twice the rate of men the same age. Why? Because your kid is still living in the basement playing video games while she's got a job and she's out buying a house.
Yep.
But the bottom line is, they're out there looking for homes or buying rent. When these are for real conversations about jobs of longevity they have now. And longevity at work. Do you remember there used to be this idea of a ladder, a career ladder? We're all going to climb to the top? I did corporate America. I know what that is. Guess what? The data show us, and I get paid to watch, that careers now are much more about pogo sticks. I want to work here, I want to work there, I want to learn more, I want to go over here. And by the way, I'm going to take a sabbatical off and step out of my career and come back in. That's a financial decision as much as anything else. How do you do that? How do you plan for it? How do you make the benefits and the funding portable as we need it? Yes, for those who have children, college funding, putting off your future so that they have a better one. Then there's those of us in middle age, muddling through, although my wife says I'm long past midlife crisis. Muddling through the middle years. Career. Why is this so difficult? Why are these folks at the lowest level of their well-being and very difficult to engage? Think about it. A lot of you are in that age group. It's not terrible, but everybody wants a piece of your time. Your career, your family, your elder care responsibilities, your volunteering, your community activities, whatever it is, everything is coming at once. And eventually, those kids that you were saving for, we hope move out to college. How do we finance that? What's the impact, by the way, of paying their tuition off because you think it's the right thing to do, but maybe shortchanging your own retirement? By the way, once the kids move out, does anyone notice who moves back in? Do you know that pets are a $180 billion economic opportunity? These people were driving McLaren baby carriages. I don't know if you know that, but they need a home equity loan to buy these things. But these are their kids. And in your middle years, we start talking about what do we want to do with finances. You know, let's redo the kitchen. Let's redo that. These are practical things that people are doing in real time. Define yourself into what I'm doing, and then you get licensed to talk to me about my future. And believe it or not, the number 2 group of people starting new businesses is not some kid wearing a hoodie writing code in Silicon Valley, or even Kendall Square where I am in Cambridge. No, it's actually entrepreneurship is the new women's movement. Women over age 50 are starting new businesses. So let me give this straight. We got the kids out, the dog is cute, we remodeled the kitchen, I've started a new business. You know what else happens? He's out of here. The highest divorce rate in the world is so-called gray divorce. By the way, why would you give up this big hunk of man? He's a pet lover after all. Interesting answer.
Dead weight.
National Real Survey. You could say, was it sex? Could be really cool to look up on the Jumbotron. No. Was it money? Would have been on point, right? No. Number one reason, he bores me. That was the number one reason. Never sit on your laurels about how great you think your brand is. Because guess what? This guy was around for 30 years and she said it's time to go. You've got about 30 seconds with her to define your value. And by the way, to my Canadian cousins, we often accuse you of being the nicer North Americans. Let's be honest. My family's up there, I can say this. We're just passive aggressive. We're not nice. When women were asked in Ontario province why such a high divorce rate, they said, he simply ran out of gas. This guy looks like he's got plenty of gas. I don't know. And then finally, older years, the managing years. What do we do after 55, 60, 65 years old? Retirement, we found during COVID, a lot of people retired out. They're coming back, doing something different. Starting going back to school, not just to retrain themselves for the career they built, but maybe to start an entirely new business. My favorite story is about this guy, Joe, another Joe, that gave me a ride in Florida. I use Uber. I use the cheaper Uber. This guy picks me up in a Mercedes. Feeling pretty good. Hit the lottery ticket. And he had this crazy dachshund dog sitting on his lap. And so I asked, I kind of looked in the mirror, and I kind of took my chances, and I said, so, you drive a Mercedes, do you live around here? He goes, yeah, I live right over there. And he was pointing to the condos right next to the Ritz. So use your imagination. The dog is starting to growl because he knows I'm nosy. And I said, so, why are you driving for Uber? He says, do you know what Sam, that's the dog apparently, Sam and I and the wife do every day? I said, no, ma'am. No, sir. And we're in Florida. He goes, Sam and the wife and I, we walk up the beach. We wave to all the nice people. Do you know what we do after that? And at this point, the dog is really pissed because he knows I'm really getting noisy. He goes, and I said, no, sir. What do you do after that? And he says, we turn around and we wave to the same damn people all over again. He went back to work because he needed something to do. He needed that social connection. As you talk to your clients about their futures, their retirement, financial security is important, but their longevity literacy should be, what's the state of your social portfolio, not just your financial portfolio? Do you have friends and contacts and things that keep you alive and vital and having purpose and meaning every day? Here's a question that very few people have asked. Where are you going to retire? Most of us want to age in place, so to speak. That's the house where you have your marriage, your mortgage, your memories, and want to stay there. Only half of us believe we're going to be able to because of the upkeep, the maintenance, and all the things that become more difficult as we age. How many moves might you have? We all are familiar with this guy remodeling the house. Then there's the downsize, then there's the right size, then there's one of us gets sick, we move back to the oldest adult daughter someplace. And eventually one of us, often, mostly women over 75, most women will live solo at some point in their life. How do you finance that? How do you find the services and the like? These are meaningful, purposeful conversations that go to the heart of your client's life, not just their portfolio. How about caregiving and self-care? How do we take care of ourselves? Is that a whole new expense in life? We know that technology has become something that all of us are using more and more often across the lifespan. In fact, by the way, Facebook is now being referred to as the social media nursing home. My kids tell me that when they say, well, take this Facebook. But the bottom line is, what we have to look at is that the digital divide, older people are no longer out there and saying, oh no, I don't do technology. No, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not virtual, you're not real. You need to be out there. We all see all kinds of technologies in our home, from Alexa to kitchens and refrigerators that are soon to be saying, Joe, you're out of your Ben & Jerry's double fudge brownie, but don't worry, we've already ordered it. Very important well-being things. We've seen toilets. One of my favorite examples, Toto, Kohler, Panasonic, are developing toilets. And I know I'm bumping up against lunch, so I'll keep this clean. That download from the user your body weight, your blood pressure, did you take your medication, and then upload that data to a call center and the like. By the way, in the UK, they did a study, a pilot program with a grocery store that was, shall we say, the toilet facilitated home delivery of the food product deemed missing from your diet. We have robots that are now coming online that are being done out of pocket, if you will. This is not health insurance, this is discretionary. In fact, one of them is called Pepper. Pepper will insult you twice a day or tell you a joke. Apparently, as science says, this is a way of keeping you cognitively fit. I don't know about you, but I've got 2 daughters. They insult me for free many times a day. And then finally, how much does an adult daughter cost? Somewhat of a joke, but listen for a moment. Birth rates are at an all-time low. She may not exist. She may be very busy. She may have many children. She may have moved far away. The new cost in retirement and longevity is how much does it cost to replace what she does. What we found during COVID and the pandemic is that the pandemic served as a propellant to use all those technologies that we thought the millennials and Gen Zers were too damn lazy to make their own meal, own their own car, and clean their own house. All of a sudden we thought, hey, that's great virtual assisted living. My mom can use that and I can use that too. But it's a whole new cost. We haven't priced that into anybody's retirement. Home as service is what we now need to start thinking about. All those little subscriptions that you do for fun, add them up one day, ask your client to do it. Create a worksheet that says, what are the little things that you kind of signed up for $6 a month that have now added up to a major payment? Think of all those services on demand that have become part of our lives that in many ways have replaced some of the things that the adult daughter used to do. And conversations, if you will, about where we will age, how we will live, how much does it cost, what is the vocabulary you can impart on your clients and customers on things like, what is assisted living, what's independent living, how does memory care work, and the like. These are real problems. By the way, this isn't for old people. The number one user of these senior housing, of course, are older people. The number one buyer, on the other hand, is a daughter between 47 and 57 years old. So if you're not talking about this to her, you're not relevant to her right now. So you're not going to get much airtime to talk about that future. So let me start to wrap this up. I want you to start thinking about how can you take the psychology of your client, the context of our lives, and the jobs of longevity to come up with content, conversations, and comprehensive solutions that help them navigate 100 years of life. Very quickly, content, think about it. How did you come up with a conversation that, as Swan was saying, is not just about friendships and relationships, but leadership so you become the first call? I know one financial agent that I spoke to, she said she knows she's a winner with her clients. When anything that happens in the family, from funerals to weddings, she's the first call. Use that as your metric. What is your level of intimacy with your clients? Conversations. You're going to have more of them. They're going to be shorter because there's only 24 hours in the day, but they're going to be broader conversations that are beyond money because it's about your relationship, not simply their portfolio. And then finally, comprehensive product and solutions. You are fortunate to be part of the Aegon Transamerica family. They've got innovative products that are not just a product that provides a revenue stream that's easily understood and may be affordable, but also products like Everest and the like that are complete solutions. Here's the need, here's the product, here's the service, done. Remember our drill conversation. I'm not buying a drill, I'm buying a hole. Fill the holes of longevity for your people. So let me end on this. I am always inspired to be with all of you. But I want to ask you something, because there is no free lunch. I'm going to ask something of you. You have the products, the process, and the most important thing, the passion to help others live longer, better. Your job going forward is to help with that longevity literacy so that all of us live 100 good years. Thank you so much.
At 1 p.m.